The future is not linear. This is not the way the future looks like. It's not about, are we going to grow 5% or 10% or 20%, or if you work doing budgeting, you take last year's result and you adjust everything by +5 or something, and then you're done. You can have a break. No, the future is not linear. The future, when we talk about technology, the future is exponential. And as you know, the founder of Intel, Gordon Moore, he realized that they were in exponential growth with processing power already in the 60s. So in 1965, he understood that we are not growing by 10, 20, 30, 40%. We are doubling. Each time we are doubling. And it's very hard for us. Human beings have a hard thing to even grasp the thought of exponential. We think linear. So if I tell you that I will take 30 steps, it's easy for you to predict. Where will I be if I take 30 steps? Well, probably 30 meters away, probably, more or less. Huh? But if I could take 30 exponential steps, where will I be? First step is 1 meter. Next step is going to be 2 meters. We're going to have a 4-meter step, and then 8, 16, 30. The 30th step is going to be 26 times around this globe. It's a pretty long step. That's exponential. And this is why everybody today, carries supercomputers in our pocket, etc. And some people say that, yeah, but I understand that is happening in different kind of industry, but I'm not in the tech industry, so, and besides, I have a strategy and I am experienced, so I will stick to the blue line. The blue line, however, is not going to continue this way when the red line crosses. When the red line crosses the blue goes like this, the Kodak way. And we see so many examples of this today, when red line crosses blue lines and blue lines just disappear and go away. So the first idea I'm going to give you about the future is maybe not an idea, it's rather a conclusion. And I'm going to give you this conclusion as a quotation. Gordon Moore realized this already in the 60s. As a result of exponential technologies in almost every field, change will never again be this slow. So we know this. It will be faster and faster and faster. Here is another example of this blue and red line in real life. If you went to America or the UK or somewhere, not so long ago, maybe just a decade ago, you remember the retail chain Blockbuster. You went there to rent movies. They were the biggest in the world. They had 9,000 stores, 65,000 employees. However, as you can see in this line, they went from $6 billion in revenue to bankruptcy in just 6 years. Just as a result of not understanding the disruptive technology of streaming video. And I know that you just got Netflix in India in January, I think, so it's probably not a big hit yet. And I would probably have to argue if I went to the bazaar and I told all the guys selling DVD movies, that's going to be gone in just 5 years' time. They would probably say, some very profound language. But this is the way it looks like. So one more thing then, we talk a lot about digitalization in society today. Digitalization also means demonetization. So we cannot charge the way we used to charge. We are not buying goods the way we're doing. So you will not see these kind of furniture in our housing anymore, because we don't need to take our movies back home as physical goods. Actually, it's not only about demonetization, it's also about dematerialization. The image to the left here is 13 different industries that are gone today. Well, we don't need them, at least, because we went from hardware to software to service. So when we talk about this new digital technology, we need to understand that we are actually talking about dematerialization. And this means the second idea of the future, that we're not going to be in the need of stuff anymore. We don't need so much stuff. Of course, we need computers, the computers that makes it possible for us to dematerialize everything else. But not so much else. And this is kind of interesting, because when I grew up in the 70s, this is the way a computer looked like. When you look at this picture, it's very easy to remember why not many people owned a computer back in the 70s. This was, not very accessible, this equipment. But as you know, today, we went from hardware, or in this case, we went from mainframe to desktop, to laptop, to mobile. Today, everybody have access. They have these great projects with the One Laptop Per Child program, giving everybody access to computing power. This was a crazy idea, just if you go back 10, 20 years. Everybody with access to computing power. That means that everybody has superpowers. And when everybody has superpowers, we will see the increased speed of change, of course. And next up it's not only going to be about computing power, it's also, of course, going to be about connectivity.